Welcome. You are now tuned into the Textually Active podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Textually Active, your weekly dose of conversations about navigating the digital age while dealing with friendships, relationships, and all the ships in between. I'm Rez, and I got Meezy with me.
Gang.
I got E on the boards. And we're joined by Dr. Battle.
Hey, y'all.
We know people. I know it's 2 doctors in a row, so shout out to us. We know people in high places.
We fire.
Welcome to Sexually Active.
Thank you.
How's everybody feeling today?
Liddy, bro. I know
Yeah.
you feeling real nice. I mean, so I'm just gonna get to it, bro.
Okay.
The whole, this whole quarantine, this whole COVID. I've literally come over here damn near every week and said, fuck this shit. I'm trying to be in these streets. I'm out here. Ain't wearing no mask. Ain't wearing no gloves. And every week, Rez would come in and be like, no, I think people should stay in the house. I think people, no travel, no nothing. Then what happened?
My sister, my big sister, now listen when I say big sister,
Right.
turned 40, and she told me that I needed to be there
So where's there?
at her 40th birthday celebration
Which was where?
in a different state.
See what? You see it be old people.
It was, we went to Vegas, but we still quarantined, kind of. We got an Airbnb. We didn't go to the Strip. We didn't go to any casinos. The Airbnb had a pool. We did outdoor activities. So it wasn't like we were wilding out. Like, we didn't have a house party.
Was all in this airport.
And it was only 8 people, and it was the same 8 people that I've been seeing this whole time.
All out here in these airports.
I had on a mask.
Out here in these airports, wilding.
The airports are probably like less busy right now
Right.
than normal.
That just mean that airborne just lingering in that bad
Oh
boy.
my
Ain't
gosh.
lingering.
Greensboro was empty. That
Right.
airport was empty. Charlotte was packed because they did the dumbest thing on American. We flew from Vegas and then had a layover in Charlotte and then flew to Greensboro. And it's like, why? Like, the flight was literally 20 minutes. So that was weird. Charlotte was the most packed airport. Even the airport in Vegas was pretty empty. So, and they make you wear a mask on the plane. But don't worry,
That's
I'm
nice.
going home soon, and I'll be catching another flight. I'm not about to sit down. They got me fucked up. After my 14 days,
Guess what, bitch?
after my 14 days of quarantining, I
Yeah.
will be going home to see my family.
Nigga get one little freedom. Now she out here.
I mean, it seems as if racism eliminated COVID. Let's just talk about it.
It didn't eliminate it, but it made us have to make some tough decisions.
We
had to
switched
make
over.
Some tough
Gotta
choices.
Gotta choose, bro. But yeah, I'm glad. Did you have fun?
I did.
You had fun.
I had a great time. I did feel guilty during the trip because it's like, dang, I'm out here enjoying myself and enjoying my life with all this chaos going on in the world. And like midway through Saturday, I was like, no, that's not fair, because you can't preach for people to protect their mental health and
Right.
then be upset when they take a break from everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Like, how am I supposed to be strong through this if my mental is weak? I can't fight and advocate for other people if my mind isn't there personally. So
That's
I took it
fire.
as a time to recharge, refresh, actually be around people, because I spend a lot of my days during this quarantine by myself at home
Yeah.
on FaceTime with people. So it was good kind of being face to face with somebody. I know I have Eric, but he's out in the streets. He's working. So that was my tea.
That's fire.
That's my story.
That's fire, bro. I can't even hold you guilty for that, bro.
Thank you.
Can't
Thank
even
you.
hold you.
How you feeling though?
I'm out here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Got a haircut.
Nuh-uh.
Got a haircut,
Nuh-uh. You letting them waves marinate
bro.
right now?
It's been a hard two months, bro. He showed me the mirror. I was like, bro, I don't even know who that is in there. I don't know this guy, bro. I got a haircut,
I
bro.
can't.
New
Okay.
glasses came in, so I can almost see a little bit.
Damn, niggas can see. Hit the applause on that.
Bro, that shit is thick too, bro. Bro, I'm looking through the old Coke bottles, bro. Thick, bro. Side note, just take care of yourselves, bro. Like, don't let shit linger, bro. Be sure to go check that out early, because I probably could have got this fixed before, because I got, like, scarring of the cornea. It's wild. Some wildness going on.
Things are crazy.
But other than that, aside from me on the verge of quitting my job, other than that, I'm good, bro.
We're going to get you there. You ain't going to have to work there much longer, bro.
I'm thinking about getting fired next week.
Shut the front door. That I ain't going to hold you though. Them unemployment checks.
Listen.
They getting a little,
If I
they
come
getting,
in-
they getting a little heavy.
If I come in here next
Fired.
week and say I told you so, just know I already knew what the deal was.
Them unemployment checks sound like
Stupid.
this. They just be throwing the money at you.
Shit.
They're like, oh, you don't have a job? Poor thing. Here.
Yeah. I need another one of them stimmies too,
Right.
just for the low.
Yo,
Right.
they do need to drop another
Drop
stimmy.
that stimmy
Just
for the
hit me
low.
with we could do half
Yo,
this time.
Look
We
at
could
the
do
country.
half.
Drop
Did y'all
that
get
stimmy.
direct deposit
Oh,
or y'all
what
got
the
check?
fuck?
Half, bro.
We want a Virgil?
I want my
You want a
whole-
Virgil?
I want more than one Virgil. I want about 4 Virgils, my G.
Y'all got
3.
checks or direct
Now
deposit?
you know that
I
came
got the
straight
direct
to the
deposit.
They really sent me a check, like a hard. I'm like, what is
Oh.
this?
They
I didn't even
tryna
want to
play
look
you.
at it with Donald Trump's name on it.
That's
I'm
wild,
like,
bro.
really? Okay.
So how you feeling? You good? I know it's been a rough.
It's been a
Rough.
lot. I'm tired. I'm tired.
Before we jump into you, Dr. Battle, do you want to tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So, I am a new faculty at Wake, in the sociology department. So I just officially finished up my first year. I teach classes on criminology, sociology, social justice over there. I'm from Jersey, did my PhD at Rutgers. Know y'all from the Northeast. So right. But yeah, that's my little blurb.
What was the change like coming from Jersey to North Carolina?
Man, y'all already know. But I love the South. So I wanted to move to the South. Like when I was in grad school, I was like, oh, I hope I get a job down there. Because I like the pace. I'm more like, even though I'm from the Northeast, where I'm from is real, like they call it the Alabama of the Northeast.
Jersey does have some country
So,
parts, though.
yeah.
That sounds very problematic too.
But it's because it's very racist.
Yeah.
Like they have Confederate flags up there, and I'm like, what? We're in New Jersey. Like y'all know this was not the side that y'all think y'all was fighting on, but
Right.
so yeah, I like the pace. The heat is different. I am getting a little accustomed to, well into the 90s all the time in May, but it's cool down here. And y'all are here, so it's lit.
I'm coming up on my 3rd year here in the South. Most people will tell you that Delaware is pretty country. So
It is.
For me, it wasn't like a huge change coming from
Right.
Delaware to Winston-Salem. But so you mentioned that you do work with social justice.
Yeah.
So I
Is
know
that a
this
class that you
wild.
teach?
Wild
Yeah.
times for you.
Right.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. So it was actually my class. The only class that I was teaching in the spring was called Social Justice and the Social Sciences.
Wow.
Right. So with the students, I went through how social justice is incorporated, like in our discipline, in sociology and other academic disciplines, like how they talk about it in theory, how they do research that's social justice oriented, that type of stuff. So when all this popped off, my students were like,
We need you.
yeah,
We need you.
we
Need
doing
a
this.
voice.
Like we had actually made, they had made T-shirts as one of the things that they did during the semester. And one of my students actually had her T-shirt on when she was protesting the other day. The shirt said Blacktivism. So it was nice for us to be able to like think about the things that we talked about in class and relate it to what's actually happening now.
That is dope. I think that's one of the best parts about being a teacher or teaching
Yep.
somebody something is seeing them actually use the things that you taught them.
Yep.
But me myself, just seeing everything that's going on in the climate of America, and just looking back on the history in these past few months with everything going on, I have been sitting on the sidelines like, where can I help? Because at the end of the day, I am a Black woman and I am affected by everything that's going on, and I do want to be a part of the change. So when I was thinking about this topic for the podcast, I was like, who would be the best person to come in here? Because I have no idea where to start, no idea what to do. Lately, I've just been reposting stuff that I see on social media just to bring awareness to it, which I don't feel like that's enough, and I feel like I'm being called to do more. So I just want you to walk us through what are the steps to be active in making a social change that we need right now.
I mean, there's so many different ways to be active, and one of the things that you're doing is using social media as a platform. And that really, like, since the Black Lives Matter hashtag popped off, social media has really become a place where people are doing social justice activism. And because that's where so much of our information is shared now, it's important that people are on there. Like, I've been on Twitter probably the past 5 days straight, to the point that people are like, girl, I'm talking to you. Like, can you hop off Twitter real quick? But it's important because there's so much information that the mainstream media is not disseminating that's being shared on social media. So that's an important site. So anything from that simple thing that you can do in your home, even like making signs. Like, if you can't protest, the protesters need signs. You can make signs, you can buy water, you can drop water off, those types of things, all the way to actually being involved in those direct protest actions.
So you mentioned social media being a tool right now. Last Tuesday, they called for a blackout on social media. And I seen it. I didn't see it on Monday. I just seen everybody posting black squares on Tuesday. And I was pissed because I don't like watching the news. I feel like they pick and choose what they want to say. So a lot of the times I use social media, especially Twitter, to get the information that I need. So I personally felt like the Blackout Tuesday was a waste of time because now instead of seeing information about stuff that's going on, I'm seeing black squares.
Right.
That's not helping me.
Right.
How did you feel about that?
I mean, it was crazy. So I didn't hear about it on Monday either. I woke up on Tuesday like, what's happening on my IG feed? And then realized what it was. So there was several problems with it. First of all, people were hashtagging Black Lives Matter.
Crazy
that was
part.
a big problem because that's jamming up the algorithms for the stuff that's actually being shared about Black Lives Matter. And the organizers were like, please don't do this. Like, we're trying to disseminate information. And then it gave people like a chance to be like, oh, I'm taking a time out from social media. Like, no, like, we need to be on social media right now. So on my page, I was like, cool. I posted my black square with information about where to donate to mutual aid funds. And then was like, okay, but also please keep engaging with social media. Like, keep sharing the information, keep making posts. And if you're not, I think what they wanted people to do was not make posts about like doing yoga,
like your regular
or
day.
you know
Like
what I'm
a
saying?
selfie.
Your regular day things.
But people just like checked out.
But
like,
I watched it because, you know, I'm up at night. So I watched the change. The change happened very quick.
Yeah.
So that's what I do love
That's
about
good,
us
yeah.
and our people. It went from, hey, we're about to do this blackout, to
they
people
called it
going,
quick. Yep.
y'all not doing this right, to let's fix this.
Right.
And that message got across very quick.
Yeah, because by the time I woke up, it was like 9 o'clock, and I was seeing the messages about not using the hashtag Black Lives Matter and making sure that you're sharing information. It was actually a post that went around that said, step 1, post your black square.
Right.
Step 2, share information. Do not go absent. Like, this is a time for you to share the information that's not being shared. It's just to focus on these issues right now. So I like that part. I think I was just frustrated by the misuse of it in the beginning. But like you said, I mean, it's a part of it.
And it was confusing because it was the same day that the music industry also said they were blacking out. So it was like confusing because they kind of said it first and then it happened.
Yeah.
And it was weird, which is another thing that's just like, wow.
But part of this organizing stuff is that stuff is happening so quickly. And it's like, you know, Black Lives Matter is a grassroots decentralized organization. Like, there's no one leader, there are co-founders. So that's part of what we're seeing now. Like, traditionally we're thinking of like the civil rights movement where it was Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and that was our leaders and what they said do, like that's what everybody was going to jump on board with. And this is kind of like, you know, more in different spaces, different people are taking the lead, which is really great in a lot of ways, but people are still figuring out.
It's noisy.
Yeah.
Like, so you don't
they're
never
figuring
know
it out.
who to listen to, what to listen to, what are we doing, is
Right.
this right, how many, like I've seen so many organizations to donate to, but then it's like side donations you can cash out. It's just like I'm confused.
Yeah.
It's
so
weird.
as far as donations go, organizers on the ground are really recommending a couple things. First, they're recommending bail funds. Bail funds are super important. They help get people who have like faced low level crimes that just can't afford to post like a $500 bond or a $1,000 bond. They bail them out. So we have one in Forsyth County. There's ones locally in North Carolina. And then we have like a national bailout fund, and different places have them. So that's one place. And Minneapolis has one too. a lot of those places have been like really overwhelmed with donations. Like Drake is dropping like 100,000 at a time. Like they're getting $1 million worth of donations.
Getting
Relax.
his Virgil's match.
Relax, yo. Hey, but shout out to Weeknd. The
Weeknd dropped some money?
Weeknd dropped like about 2 mil, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these bails, a lot of the bail funds like have more money than they can deal with right now. So then the second place that people are telling, that the organizers are saying donate, is to mutual funds. Mutual aid funds, which is just like people on the ground doing like community, like individual to individual, like what do you need? Like we need to go shopping for you. We need to help you get like a walker if you need it, that type of stuff.
Fire.
So it's really moving away from the idea to donate to like the NAACP, like these big organizations. It's really about getting stuff more localized.
That's good. And you know exactly where it's going when you're
Right.
sending it locally to your bail fund and everything.
Right.
So we talked about social media and how you can be active with that. We talked about how you can be active financially. Now, what if you want to lace up your boots and get outside?
We need that too.
Like, what does
we need
that
the
look
soldiers.
like?
We need the soldiers.
Because
So
you guys are on the front line when you go out
Yeah.
there.
Fire.
And, you know, all the things that I've seen on social media with people protesting, you're not only facing the police front on,
Right.
you're facing people who may be against what you're protesting
Exactly.
about because they're there too. And you could be mixing with people who are just walking with you guys just for the cause, but they're not really for you guys.
exactly.
So how do you
It's a
get
lot of niggas
yeah.
out here. A lot of niggas out here just out there taking pictures.
Yeah.
Just taking
No, yeah, yeah.
pictures.
And it's it's always been that way, and we can't get distracted by all that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's always
nasty.
going to be people that you got to look at sideways, but putting your body out there is one of the most like selfless things that you can do, and everybody can't do it, especially during COVID. Like
I'm one.
there's a lot of people that can't afford to take that risk illness wise.
Yeah.
Like not let alone everything else that you face when you're out there. You know, like the protest here is several hundred people at a time. That's a lot of risk that you're exposing yourself to, and especially we know that Black people face more health complications due to COVID because of systematic racism. So all that is locked in, but definitely if you feel compelled, get out there. Like if you feel compelled, get out there. It's important that our physical presence is known. These are our streets. That's one of the things that we chant out there. Whose streets? Our streets. We deserve to be making our faces and our bodies seen and occupying space.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, that's how change comes. People, you need to be disrupted. Like people's everyday lives, comforts need to be disrupted.
So I've seen things, Mizi, you mentioned that a lot of people are out there taking pictures and like posting them to social media. Is that a thing that you should be doing when you're protesting?
So it really depends like what type of protest situation you're involved in. So here, you know, in Winston, it's staying really, you know what I'm saying?
Peaceful.
It's okay. Yeah. So I've been streaming on Facebook Live while I'm out there. When things get a little bit more dicey and there's more like, you know, law enforcement is not really feeling what's going on, and, you know, maybe things are happening that people could potentially get arrested for, that's when you really don't want to post on social media. And if you can, you don't even want to have your cell phone on you because they could track location with your cell phone unless you turn your data off. But like I posted a picture the other night, you know, it was covered in Winston-Salem News that 52, one of our local highways, was closed down by protesters, and I was out there and I posted a picture, but I covered everyone's faces just in case anybody feels a way about it. So
yeah, that's good. Are there certain things that you should wear or bring with you when you go out to protest?
So I have raw blisters on my feet.
Oh my gosh.
So you don't want to have the wrong shoes on. That's number one. You definitely want to make sure that you have like Band-Aids, the right socks, the right type of sneakers. You want a lot of water. Like it gets hot out there. You want snacks because sometimes like you can end up being out there 5-6 hours and you didn't intend to be out there all day. Like I bring nuts, like stuff that's going to be quick protein. Make sure you have a portable charger if you have your phone with you. And then depending on, like I said, what the situation is, then you might want to bring and masks. Definitely make sure you have your mask.
Ooh,
Sorry.
especially during COVID.
Make sure you have your mask. You need masks if you're out there. But then if the situation is a little more dicey, then there's other things that you might want to bring to protect yourself in case tear gas starts getting used or things like that. So if you can get goggles, you don't want to have contacts in if it's a potential of being tear gas. You want to have some type of water or something to clean your eyes out with. You want to have somebody who's not protesting with you, who's home in case you get detained, that can come and get you. So people are writing phone numbers on their arms to make sure that they have that information with them when they're going somewhere.
Is there a way to be able to tell the difference between a peaceful protest versus something that's going to be a dicey situation? Because I've seen calls to protest that just say peaceful protest at 5, come out, wear black, bring a sign. And I'm like, okay, very vague. The Virgo in me is screaming. You're not really giving me much here.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of black? Do I bring my wig or do I leave it? Like, you're giving me nothing.
I mean, a lot of them are saying wear all black today. The one I was at today said wear all black. I wore yellow in honor of Breonna Taylor's birthday. It was her 27th birthday
Shout out
today.
Brianna.
Right.
Yes.
So I had my yellow on for her. So you can wear whatever you want. That's not that important. To know whether it's peaceful or not, you really got to see what was happening in the city at the other protests.
Okay.
I mean, just follow the news to see how law enforcement is responding to protesters in a particular area. The best way to predict what's going to happen in the future is what happened yesterday.
Right.
So,
Right. Because at home, you know, in the tri-state area in Delaware and Philly and Jersey, they're having a different experience up there. I've seen riots in Delaware. I've seen they done tore up Little Market Street in Delaware.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, you know, we already don't have much, but people are angry. So I get it.
They was
So
getting to it in Philly, boy.
yeah, in
Yeah.
situations like that, when the protests have been like that and the SWAT is called, I would imagine those are the situations where you would want to bring the extra
Everything.
yeah.
Protection. Everything.
and turn off the data and do all those extra steps. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess, like you said, here in Winston, it's been pretty peaceful so far. So
Yeah.
you just gotta play it by city.
I mean, I think it's in Winston, one of the differences that I've seen here is that law enforcement is really like letting the protesters go where we want to go. So it's like they're not being confrontational, which a lot of these places that have turned, you know, gotten a little live.
That went left.
Yeah, is because they're being confronted in a whole different way by police officers.
Okay,
It's
so
not
that-
necessarily that the
wow.
protesters are just turning up. It's that law enforcement is setting that stage, and then people are matching that energy.
Yeah.
Provoking people. Like I
Right.
seen a lady, they trying to arrest a lady and they put the baton in her hand like it was hers. Like she had something to do with it.
Right.
It's been wild.
They pushed Buffalo police pushed a 75-year-old man down, cracked his head open.
I seen
It's
that.
bad.
So my question with that was 2 days prior, they were kneeling. The police were kneeling in
The
a protest.
same one that pushed this one.
Was kneeling and
Right.
then turned around 2 days later and pushed somebody down.
Foul.
So I wanted to take the time to say, you know, that's not a sign that you are for
Right.
the cause, because 2 days later you're pushing a man down and breaking his head open. And I see a lot of times people get so excited and like praising cops for doing the bare minimum.
It's a distraction.
Right.
It's
Big
a form of
distraction.
manipulation, and it's a distraction.
Right. Like those images, the images of people posting cops hugging children,
It's crazy.
giving
Crazy.
protesters water, protesting with them. It's like, what are you guys trying to say? What's the message here? Because if you guys were all good the way you say that you are, we wouldn't be here
We wouldn't
in
be
this
doing
very
this.
moment. Like 50 states across the country wouldn't be protesting.
And every continent.
Right.
in the
Everybody
world.
in the world is protesting against you
And
guys.
the wild shit is they're still doing this during the protest.
And on camera.
Like, how are you
And
killing a
on camera.
13-year-old kid in New York during a protest about cops killing people? Like, this does not make sense at all, bro. Like, this is wild.
It's wild.
It's wild.
I think in the past, people seen images like that and they're like, okay, our point has been made. Let's go on ahead and pack it up, guys. We did what we needed to do. But this time it feels different. You know, with the change of everybody protesting against the world, with the images coming out of people like cussing out their family members.
Oh, I'm here heavy for the call. Is this you movement on Twitter
Right.
online. Like,
Right.
you said this, though, but you saying this.
Racists don't deserve jobs.
Yeah.
Right.
Period.
Don't hide now, because
Right.
you
You
weren't
said it.
hiding. It was a post that came out with a girl from UD. And her
Mhm.
stance on everything that was going on and how we need to just get over it. And every
Yep.
time somebody dies, we're in an uproar. And the one that I'm really tired of hearing is that white people get killed by the police more than we do.
And then y'all should be protesting too, because nobody should get killed by the police.
Right.
Why are the police
Police
killing
killing
anyone?
The judge.
So why are y'all not out here?
And they're giving you your sentence too. They're taking away
Right.
the power of our rights. So it's just like, where I think we need to understand that it's not enough for cops to protest with us.
No.
It's not enough for them to kneel with us. It's not enough for them to hug our kids and kiss our babies. A change is gonna come when people start actually implementing laws and taking some of the power from the police.
Well, yeah, I mean, part of the problem is a lot of people don't know or care that the original police were slave patrols. That's where the idea of law enforcement started. Law enforcement was always about controlling black people. This was not ever about law and order for everyone else. This was about, let me make sure black people are not off the plantation. And that's how law enforcement in this country began. You can't reform something that was foundationally from the beginning racist. You cannot do that. There is no reform for that. It has to be completely dismantled. And we have to think about public safety and community outreach in a completely different way. Like, it cannot be done this way. It can't.
Exactly. So there is no room
Fire.
for a reform. You literally have to uproot it, because it's
Exactly.
it's
So wild.
so deeply rooted in the people that, like, if you think about it, it wasn't really that long ago
No.
when they started it. So
And this is what they're talking about doing in Minneapolis now. So Minneapolis is saying, we're really considering dismantling our whole police department. This is where George Floyd got killed. This is where Philando Castile got killed. They're saying we cannot have this continue in this way. And that's what every place across this nation should be doing. We do not need people to think that they have every right to go out and brutalize people. There's
Right.
no other profession that if someone curses at you, you can arrest them.
Right.
Whoa.
There's no other profession where you can do that.
It's no reason why. I'm sure we all felt this in the room, and I'm so upset that Trina said this when she went on her platform.
Hey, not us.
That she is not afraid to be pulled over by the police officer.
And that's
What kind of world do you live in where when you drive past a police officer and you weren't expecting to drive past it, and you have to rethink in your head, like, am I doing everything right? Did he see my black skin in this car?
Right.
Like, am I doing the speed limit? And then, like, your heart drops when those lights come on.
Right.
It's trauma. Like, we've been traumatized for years behind the police, and it needs to change.
Yep.
It needs to change. So I'm at the point where I'm putting my boots on. And I'm out
Let's
here.
go.
I'm out here.
Let's
I'm
go.
marching. I've been working
Let's
out. I'm
go.
strong. I can run.
Let's go.
I got air in my lungs, and I've been to Vegas. I'm
Yep.
good. I'm ready.
I don't got it. I'm just gonna keep
I-
sharing.
I'm out there
online,
for you,
donating,
Meezy.
do it
Yeah,
for
everybody
me.
don't have to do everything.
Send the
Right,
Virgil
right,
through.
yeah.
You be
Two virgins. I drop it. I
hit,
drop it.
hit the bail fund with the Virgil.
We'll hit the two virgins out here.
God.
But I have a question. Like,
Yeah.
some of the, like, I've been noticing online that we are, and I enjoy it, the call out thing. But I feel like a lot of this has been getting, like, it's been a distraction. Like, you find the guy, the white guy on there on your Facebook that has the Trump, and then we call him out, and it's a back and forth. Like, what are the, like, distractions we should probably, like, stay away
I mean,
from?
I'm not arguing with anybody on social media at this point. I'm
Facts.
calling people's jobs, and then that's what we're going to do from there.
Oh, big energy.
We're not going to go back and forth
Big energy.
arguing about humanity, my humanity, y'all humanity. I'm not going to argue with people about that. So I have blocked multiple people in the last few days because, and y'all know, like, it's funny, I don't even barely have people who would be problematic, but this idea of looting and rioting and all this stuff has really brought out other different opinions that I've really had to block a lot of people. So I'm not arguing. And if I see something racist, there's a couple people, like my mom, for instance, can't be protesting, but I forward the information to my mom and she starts making phone calls. That's her role right
yes,
now.
Mom.
That's
Fire.
her role. So, for somebody from my hometown, a white woman who posted something about darkies on her Facebook page. She worked at a local real estate agency. So my mom has already called down there. She was already fired by the time my mom called because so many people had been calling. She's called the public works line, the city in the town where they live because one of their employees yelled out something racist at my niece, or excuse me, my little cousin, while she was out protesting. So we're not doing that in 2020. Racists do not deserve jobs. I'm gonna keep saying that. Fire them.
Fire them all. Social media has been a huge eye opener for me, specifically for the people who aren't saying anything.
Yeah.
Like I know I choose my friends of other races very, very well.
Yeah.
I'm looking at what you're doing before I even decide to bring you into my circle. So I've noticed like some of the people that I do mess with that are of the other races, they're doing their part.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, I have seen a few of them. The same one that want to be calling me, hey girl, what's up? Not doing what she's supposed to be doing. So, in those times, it's kind of like, you're right. You have to block them and move on, or speak up and encourage them to speak, because I feel like silence during this time is dangerous.
I had a situation on Facebook where so white guy kept trying to post, like he's trying to have a conversation with me, and I just kept deleting it. He was like, fam, you deleting it is proving my point. But I was like, bro, I got all day. I don't have shit to do today.
And
I can just keep deleting it. I don't have to deal with this.
You're wasting your time.
Yeah, you're going to get bored. You're going to get sick of having to retype this. I don't have it for you. And I'm also, like you said, I'm also against, hey, bro, if you said that shit, Drew Brees, you meant that shit.
You meant it.
I don't want to hear your apology the next day about how these niggas, I had conversations and I realized, no. You said that and you knew that because that interview was during the time that it's going on. You said that, you meant that.
And you're only sorry because you're facing the consequences that you should be rightfully facing.
You said that, you meant that.
Because if nobody said shit to you, you would have no apology. There would be no apology. You'd be doing the same thing.
Exactly. So you have to sit there with what you said.
Yeah, you said that.
And deal with
your
thoughts.
Take a moment. Take a moment.
You just realized you said that, bro.
Right. So
and
the
you
same
know
way,
it's gonna be a headline,
right? The same way I'm looking at my friends on Facebook, because I feel like Facebook is just where people just get ignorant. They say whatever.
Facebook is that.
The Facebook is the one. You posted something today, Meezy, where you said Instagram is the
peaceful protest.
Twitter is the riot,
and Facebook is just like looking from the outside, like what's going on.
Facebook is everybody I went to high school with that is still racist,
right?
And they were racist in high school, and they're still racist now. And I'm like,
the crazy part is I haven't seen like a lot of the white people on my Facebook.
I think I got rid of them early.
I haven't seen a lot of them, and that's the one thing I'm thankful for about that algorithm. The algorithm lets you see the people you talk to the most and interact with the most. Very thankful for that.
Yeah.
Aside from the rest of that bullshit.
So the same way I'm watching Facebook, I've been checking my email, seeing which businesses have to say what about what and how they're saying it. First of all, this is not a people of color problem.
No, it's not.
If you have a problem with saying black, I need you to go back to that email, redraft it, retype it up, and let's get back to the basics.
They really do.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is a time for businesses to stand up too.
Exactly. Shout out to Republic, the record label, because they said they are getting rid of urban. Their urban department, they're getting rid of the usage of the word urban.
Right.
Because it obviously just means black.
Right.
So they said they're getting rid of that, the subgenre and all of that in their business. So that's fire. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of businesses are scared about what backlash they will face from white supremacists in this country. And you got to draw a line. Like sometimes all money ain't good money. And it can't just be about you making the maximum amount of profits just because you want to do business with everybody. No, that's not how this is going to work. And if that's how you feel, then don't expect a black dollar.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't do it.
And some of you blacks, too. You wildin' like Jerry Lorenzo and the Fear of God t-shirt. They changed the Fear of God to a GF. But we know it's George Floyd. But if I just saw that t-shirt like in 9 years from now and I don't know what happened and I like just seen the t-shirt, I just think it's a cool, dope street brand t-shirt that has nothing to do with George Floyd. So it's like, bro, some of y'all got to watch out what y'all doing. Y'all think y'all helping. It just looks very self-serving.
Yeah.
Right. I do think that it is a learning time, and it is a time for us to have conversations with black people too, because like you said, you've seen some people posting different things about rioting and looting and different viewpoints, and there are segments of black people that have different opinions on everything. I think this is a time to come together because these past few years we have been scattered. Everybody's here doing this, they want to do this, they want to do that, but if we all come together and express how we're feeling about everything, it's going to be better for everybody. That's I need to be able to tell Trina, ma'am,
Right.
sis, like,
Come on.
come here for a second. Let me tell
They
you why
make a
you're
couple
wrong.
millions and then forget. I'm like,
Right.
what are you talking about?
Like, let's sit
the
down.
Dade County Police. You're not scared
Right.
of what they do?
Florida?
Come on,
Florida?
She's wild.
What are you talking about?
And we also gotta be mindful, bro. Just because everybody isn't saying anything, to not like try to victimize, like use that against them. Because like as I saw, they put out a statement afterwards, but like Hov has been like really on the front line. Jay-Z's been doing a lot on the front line. They even said Kanye's been out here throwing all kinds of bread towards these donations. He hadn't said nothing, and we look at him crazy for what he said in the past. So, you know what I'm saying? We can't just look at people because they're not being very vocal about it. Cause they
I think one of the problems with the whole thing is we have like the idea of celebrity is stupid. Like
Valid.
They're people.
It's so stupid. Like we shouldn't be putting people on a pedestal. Like they're gonna be saying crazy stuff at some point. What they say, we don't need to just take that and run with it. Like no. And they're out here doing wild stuff too. So
Right. We just need to look at them as people too. I just think, as Black people, we already have a lot of stuff against us. You don't need to be pointing out everybody's flaws during this time. Everybody is taking this stuff wrong. If somebody is posting a selfie smiling, don't shame them for celebrating their birthday during this time. Everybody is not going to be sad, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But we can't be so hard on each other. You have to teach your brother, your sister, your mother why they're wrong, how they're wrong, and teach them the way, or at least have the discussion with them.
And don't expect them to feel the same way you
Right,
do.
yeah.
'Cause I was talking to my therapist yesterday, and I think she thought I
Shout
would
out to
be,
therapy.
please.
Shout
I
out to
think-
therapy.
Yes.
I think she thought I was gonna be sadder as a Black man, but I was like, I've kind of normalized the situation that, like, bro, this is happening.
It's one
been
of the coping
happening. Yes,
mechanisms.
but it's been happening. And then I was sitting on the couch the other day, and I was like, damn, I wish outside would get normal. But then I was like, well, if outside got normal, then it would just be what has been happening.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what
Yeah.
do you say? Like, I want things to progress, but like feel regular.
Yeah.
So it's wild.
What
It's-
does regular
I don't even
feel
know.
like
I don't
anymore?
even know what it would look like.
I don't even think we going back to anything that we recognize from
exactly,
before.
bro.
At
It's,
this point, we're
it's
not.
wild, bro.
On two fronts, on COVID front and on this racial inequality and white supremacy
and
shit.
with businesses too. Like you guys showed your hand. Like we know that we can work from home now. We know that this country has the money to fund people. You guys sent out money to everybody.
For nothing.
All of a sudden, y'all got unemployment for everybody. What are we going to do about these real issues that we have?
And we have police forces that have millions of dollars worth of military grade gear, and we
Tanks,
have
bro.
nurses and doctors in trash
didn't have
bags
shit.
in hospitals.
Like,
this shit
why
is
do y'all
really
need
crazy.
a tank, bro?
They
When do
don't.
you ever bring out a tank?
They're acting out a Call of Duty fantasy, and it's really sick. Like it's
People are
just
marching
sick.
literally in black jeans, sneakers, and a black t-shirt with a bandana around their face and maybe a rock in their pocket. And you niggas is coming
I
out
got my
with
crystal.
right, a rock, a crystal. You guys got tear gas, grenades, shotguns, ARs. Like, bro, what are y'all doing? We're people. It's just crazy. This country is crazy. If you would have asked me what 2020 was going to be like,
Man, listen.
I never would have thought it.
Man, 2020. But I'm as crazy as it is, I'm so like appreciative for
Yeah.
Minneapolis getting this shit started.
This shit
Minneapolis
feels
said
good.
this is not going to fly.
It
This
feels
is not going to
great.
fly. They've been out there every day since last Tuesday.
Yes.
And they're facing really crazy situations out there. And places around this country are facing crazy situations. Around the world, really. So I'm appreciative because this is not like we're not stopping till we get justice. And that's
Right.
period on the end of that sentence.
And we're not. Everybody is out here. We're not the only. It feels good to know that we're not the only ones fighting this fight too.
Bro.
Like it's people of all different races out there.
Every time I see Steven Jackson talk, bro, I almost cry. Every time. Because, like, Steven Jackson is just like the cool uncle you wish you had. You gonna smoke weed with your uncle. But he's like the guy that's like, nah, bro, this shit's not right. And every time I see him talk, because him and George Floyd were like boys, every time I see him talk, makes me want to cry. I don't even know why. Because I feel like it could have been my uncle. Bro.
Exactly.
Like that could have been the guy that I loved. You know what I'm saying?
It
Every time. It's
and
wild.
that's why black people are. I like to say we're uprising. I don't like the riots. I don't like that language of riot. I like the language of uprising. And when there are uprisings in a revolution, sometimes there's damage and sometimes they're violent. And that's what the fuck it is, because we are tired. We are tired.
I feel like I wish there was a better word for tired. Exhausted.
I've been saying that every day. When people ask me how I am, I say I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Because it's mentally draining to be in this state of stress constantly.
It's stress. It's to the point where I didn't even realize I was stressed until I sat down with my girlfriends this week and we kind of had a conversation about how we felt about everything just being black women. And a lot of the times I feel like most of everything that's going on around us falls back on black women. Like, we have to be the support for our husbands. We have to be the support for our friends. We're expected to be the ones that step up and make a change because we're looked at as so strong and so motherly, even those of us who don't have children. And it's kind of like, sometimes I just want to take a deep breath and be like,
yeah,
it's cool. I got it. But we still have to be strong. We have to be on the front lines making these changes and stuff. And it makes you exhausted.
And what's so hurtful about that is that when we get killed, our voices or our names often just go missing.
Exactly.
Like Breonna Taylor's murderers are still employed and walking around free. And they murdered her 84 days ago.
In her
and
house,
they are free.
bro.
She was asleep in her bed. And
they came in plain clothes. Wrong house.
To the wrong house.
The suspect was already arrested.
I want to point out about the wrong house thing. If it was the right house, why are you running in someone's house shooting over nothing? No one should. I don't care what crime somebody committed. You don't deserve to get shot. We don't have an automatic death penalty in this country.
And it was another lady, another black woman. I think it was earlier this year. She was in her house, and I think she got a call because her door was open.
Tatiana Jefferson.
Yes, and
she was in there playing a video game with her nephew. The door was cracked open because it was very hot. A neighbor, trying to be a good Samaritan, called the police to say, like, oh, their door is open. It's late at night, not thinking the police were going to shoot into a house where they did not know where they were shooting, and shot her dead in front of her nephew, her baby nephew. It's horrifying.
Right.
When that happened, I was sitting in my apartment like, Jesus, like if somebody called right now because they heard a bang or something in my apartment,
I could die.
and the police, exactly,
And the police come, I could die. Yeah.
right in this moment,
Just
right,
sitting here.
at any moment.
And that's something that we have to walk around daily,
Every day.
carrying on our shoulders. Are we a target today?
Them damn Americans love their guns, don't they?
They do. They do. But let's go ahead and take a break on that note, and we'll be back with our final thoughts. All right. So for our final thoughts, I just wanted to talk about what changes we want to see from all of this, what changes we want to see from the protests, what changes we want to see from people donating money, and from people, just speaking out against this cause. Like, what changes do you want to see implemented in this country?
I mean, I think the biggest one, that people stop dying at the hands of the police.
Yeah.
Like this is literally simple as that. There's no in between. I mean, we can get to the equality, but obviously, simply, people gotta stop. People gotta stop dying at the hands of the police.
We got a lot of things we need to
yeah,
fix.
it's
Right.
a lot.
But while we're here on this issue, stop killing us.
Right.
Please.
Period.
Please,
Right.
that's really all I got. That's the big one for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think the short-term stuff is we need justice for Breonna Taylor. We need justice for Tony McDade, a trans man in Florida who was killed by the police.
Yes.
We need justice for George Floyd. Those police officers being charged means nothing, because we've seen police officers charged in the past and they
Over
get
and
off.
over again.
Everybody
So
gets charged. and then
we
get off.
not stopping until we have justice for people, for victims of police violence and for victims of state sanctioned violence, which means more than just the police. That means anything that's sanctioned by white supremacy and patriarchy in this country, like Ahmaud Arbery's killing, murdered by two white racists in Georgia while he was running.
Yes.
We need justice for him. So those are the first things. And then we really need to rethink how we police in this country. And I think that's like the long-term thing. But we need to defund police. Police departments need to be dismantled, and we need to think about what public safety looks like in a way that's community facing and not about this law and order, Call of Duty, let me throw you on the ground and put you in jail.
Right, and lock you up in front of your whole block.
Right.
So when you say dismantle, what do you mean? Like, just take it all apart? Like, are we just taking apart
Dismantle
our Legos and rebuilding it
Yep.
block by
Because
block?
like I said, you cannot reform something that was fundamentally racist from the beginning. It can't be reformed. And, you know, people like to say, like, there are good police. One of the people I love most in the world is a police officer, and that still does not change my feeling. I don't want anyone to get hurt. Let me be clear about that. But I do not think that we should have a system that was built on brutalizing and oppressing Black people allowed to continue in this country.
I agree. It's been too many lives lost behind this stuff. For my change, I all of the above.
Right.
All of the above.
Everything, bro.
Stop killing us. Get y'all shit together with the police. And justice for everybody. But outside of that, like, on the small list of small, no, it's not that small. It's pretty big. Stop letting white people call the cops on us for shit that doesn't matter.
Cookouts
Like,
in the park.
you are literally calling them because you know that when they come out, they're probably going to get aggressive and shoot us because it's
Amy
a
Cooper.
white person calling the cops on us.
The wildest shit to me is they be scared of Black people but think they have the power. I don't understand. Like, how does that work?
I'm calling the
Like,
cops.
how are you
I'm calling
afraid
them.
of something you think you're more superior than?
I'm calling the cops and I'm telling them that it's an African American man out here threatening my life.
Right.
And she wanted exactly, Amy Cooper, who did that to Christian Cooper in Central
Right.
Park, wanted exactly what happened to George Floyd to happen to him. And that's
She
why she
did.
called and acted crazy like that and was on the phone crying as if somebody was really putting her life in danger.
Right.
And as she should have, lost it all. And keep it coming.
Even the dog.
Even the dog.
Down to the dog.
bro.
The dog
The
didn't
dog
deserve
was first, though, because,
Dog.
you
a
know,
racist mama.
you know, they care about dogs differently than they care about people. But that's for a
Ugh.
different show.
If y'all gonna forgive Drew Brees, forgive Mike Vick too.
Right.
It's a lot of stuff that we might have to come back and touch on some
Right.
things for this conversation, because we didn't even get into the homophobic part of Black Lives Matter, and that's something I really feel strongly about.
Transphobic.
So, trans.
None of us are free until we all are free.
Thank
So if
you.
we're saying Black Lives Matter, that means all Black Lives
It
Matter.
includes everybody. I can't pick and choose who,
Exactly.
them, she, he, they. I can't pick and choose. Just say, oh, all cis women matter, all
No.
cis men matter. No, everybody.
Nope.
So
And we got some for you Dominicans that don't want to be part of the movement too.
sit down and shut up. That's all I got. Just sit over there. It's cool. You don't want it, go over there and smoke your hookah. Not your hookah. So let's go ahead and jump into our baby maker of the week.
You are now tuned in to
You are now
WMEZ.
tuned in.
Z. This week we have Manilia. This song is called Love Crimes here on WMEZ.
Textually active.
And that was Manilia. That song was called Love Crimes. It's been added to your Baby Maker playlist. If you want to hear the Baby Maker playlist, be sure to go to your favorite streaming site, Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music. Type in Textually Active Podcast. It should pop up. If it don't, just DM us for the link and we'll get it right to you here on WMEZ.
Textually active.
All right, and this is the part of the show where we pull our memes out for some comic relief. But I mean, well, mine is kind of funny.
Mine
so.
is too.
Mine
Okay.
is funny.
All right, cool. All right, so we can laugh now. Everybody take a deep breath in. Exhale. It's time to get silly. So I've been reposting a lot of protesting signs that I've seen, trying to get ideas for when I get out there. And a funny one that I seen this week is, oh, okay, because I thought an all lives matter ass bitch has something
Thank
to
you.
say.
That's a good one. That's a
Right.
good one.
Hashtag Black Lives Matter.
Right.
I think I used this one on a show, but still gonna use it again. It says, can you describe your politics in a meme? And it says, I'll serve crack before I serve this country.
Right. Basically. So this is actually a sign that I seen out here. A sign that I seen out here the other day. It said Trump is a, and then it said RA_IST. So it could have been rapist or racist.
Wow, that's deep. That's good.
Right.
Shit. While y'all here, send us some DMs of your favorite protesting signs. I want to see them.
Lit.
I like to look at them. Another one that I liked was when I turned 11, I skipped. When I turned 11, I turned 13 because I don't fuck with 12 or something like that. I was like,
funny.
yes,
That's
that's great.
That's
That's
hilarious. Fuck
But
12.
thank you for coming through, Britt.
Thanks for having me,
Dr. Battle, thanks for coming. Thanks for sharing your information with our listeners. We really appreciate you.
They can listen, any listeners that want more information about how to get involved and where they're at or where to make donations, definitely hit me on my social media pages.
Okay.
Find you.
Yeah, where can they find you?
Y'all can find me on Twitter at Dr_B_Pearl. That's probably the simplest place. Get at me there.
Yeah. Okay. And we'll post it below too so that people can find you. Thank you all for listening to this episode. We hope that we were able to give you guys some tips and just say something that gets you activated in this
Stay
movement.
strong, fam.
Right.
Stay strong, guys. Stay positive.
Lace up them boots.
Right. So hopefully if you guys have kids, their kids can live in a better world.
Right.
It's I can't say that I'm upset that we had to go through this to get to where we're going to be,
Yeah.
but just stay strong.
Yep. Change is coming.
Change gon' come.
Fuck
Yeah.
12, bro.
If you think about it though, we've been preparing for this like our whole life.
Yeah.
Like this isn't something new.
Right.
Like okay.
Fam, they wouldn't find Obama.
They got Obama off his jet ski. Hey, we need you. Come
We need
here.
you, sir.
Bro, Zoom went and dropped a check for Obama. I wonder how much do you think it is for Obama to do a walkthrough?
2 million.
2? To get Obama to do a walkthrough?
So I can't give him 2
Wow.
Virgils.
Not
Tell
two
him.
Virgils.
Zoom had that back end ready, boy.
All right, guys. In the meantime, in between time, keep up with us on our social media pages. We're on Twitter at Textually Act Pod. We're on Facebook at Textually Active Pod. And we're on Instagram at Textually Active Pod. We will be back next Tuesday.
See ya.
Peace out.
YouTube.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you for listening to the Textually Active Podcast. This podcast is a full-service production from the Open Media Lab. Be sure to check in every Textual Tuesday along with following them on all social media at Textually Active Pod. Textually Active is a part of the Open Media Network.